All right, hi you guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gabrielle Burton, and I am a Christian licensed marriage and family therapist and author of the book, The Ultimate Guide to Becoming a Gold Digger, Discovering the Hidden Treasures Within. It helps you dive deep into your relationship with God, yourself, and others as it combines biblical and mental health principles. And today I am joined here with a dear friend of mine, Chris Lowe. She's also a therapist in Las Vegas. And today we want to talk to you about friendship. Chris and I have known each other for, what's going on, three years now?
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah. And I just wanted to share with you guys, just like our friendship love story, and also just giving you some tips and tricks on how to develop meaningful relationships. I'm just so grateful for you, Chris. Like, I just feel like you have been someone who has just become such a really close friend of mine, and you have been like a sister, and yeah, I just feel like you are someone who is just always giving so much like love and grace. You're very attentive and very loving, and so I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. Not us starting out with the mushy.
Yes, I love you, girl. So I don't know. And do you want to maybe tell our love story, how we met?
Yes. So it's about 3 years ago. It was about 3 years ago. My perspective might be a little bit different, but from that period of my life, I had just been in private practice for about a year now. And then I kind of had this thought process or this realization of, I realized I was lonely. I really had a lot of thoughts about, I need friends, like I have friends currently, but I just wasn't seeing them as much. And then also in addition to that, I was an entrepreneur and there were different things that I was experiencing that no one else could relate to, right?
There ain't no hood like entrepreneurhood, okay? It's a little ghetto sometimes, like
girl, the straight up, like for real, like for real. So at that point, I kind of had set intentions that I wanted to establish new friendships.
Yeah.
And like I said, it wasn't because the relationships that I had weren't good. It's just that I knew that I needed to sort of expand. I had this mantra. I had the mantra, no new friends. So I really was kind of rolling around with this space of, or this thought process of, I'm keeping my circle close-knit and tight.
Yeah.
And then I had this sort of epiphany of like, yeah, but you're kind of lonely. I mean, I was at home a lot. I was working from home. And so I wasn't really having a lot of contact with people. And so I kind of, like I said, set the intention of, I want to make a new friend. And so I was actually on social media and I was like scrolling and I happened to, I don't even know how I came across your page, but I'd seen you and I'm like, she seems nice. And then like, I can't remember if I reached out to you before or after, but I ended up seeing you at a networking mixer.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, I must have reached out to you by this time. I had to have, I'm assuming, but either way, like the rest was history. Like from there, we just kind of like connected. You actually had started this therapist group off duty.
Therapist off duty.
Yeah, therapist off duty.
Uh-huh.
And I think we met at Craft Kitchen. Like that was the first time we hung out, but it was a group setting. And it was cool because I didn't really have any experience with hanging out with other therapists outside of a professional space.
Yeah.
So it was like really cool to be able to experience other therapists off duty. And from there, it was just kind of history. We had a lot of the same, a lot of similarities. We have a lot of similarities in terms of our belief systems. And I think that was one of the things that I was really looking for. In addition to you being an entrepreneur, you were a therapist, which was like, okay. And then you also are a believer, and that was really important. And it has been very important in this friendship. So I'm appreciative of you.
Aww.
So that was from my perspective.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like I was like, I'm gonna be her friend.
Oh, Yeah, okay. She had an intention and she pursued and she shot her shot.
And look at us.
I know, look at us now. No, I love that. And it's funny. So yeah, I remember, I do think you did reach out to me. I think we had talked about possibly getting together, and then yeah, we ended up meeting at the mixer. And then yeah, Therapists Off Duty. That was just a group to get a bunch of therapists together to just be humans, because believe it or not, therapists like struggle at knowing how to just be humans, right? Like they're always in therapist mode and they're always trying to like work, and I think, I don't know, I feel like I'm a type of person where if I feel like I'm struggling with something, I'm like, I feel like I can't be the only one. And so that was the intention of the group, is just to bring other therapists together. I also work from home, and then entrepreneurship, it can be very lonely. So I was like, let's just bring a bunch of therapists together and just be humans. Let's just talk and get to know each other and share our stories, maybe share our wins and our struggles. Now, it was a little bit of a struggle just because I do feel like people still wanted to kind of go to that place of talking about work. But I'm like really intentional when it comes to my friendships. I really like to keep things separate. I'm like, listen, if we're hanging out, we're not talking about work. We're not, because I just feel like, there might be time where we can give some time and space for that, like, maybe a few minutes to kind of catch up. But I think it's really important to protect the relationship so that it's not always, I'm not using you as a resource. I'm not asking you like, hey, what's the next, the CRM you're using to get clients, like I want it to be able to just, there's not a lot of times as therapists in our roles where we're able to just be seen as humans. And so that was the intention of the group. But anyways, yes. And then, we was trying to start a business together too.
Dang.
Do you remember that?
Yes. We tried to start a business together. We actually also, before that, I think we tried to start a podcast.
Yes. That was kind of the business. Like we were kind of.
Yes. And then the walk.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we also have to talk about this because, and I don't know, maybe it's my fault, because like also like when you really like a friend or a person, you're like, maybe we could do more together, like maybe we could like do a business together, And so yeah, we tried some things, and then we learned some things about each other where I was like, I like you as a friend, I don't know that I like you as a business partner.
Yeah, and I think that was really important. That was really important and really instrumental in that space. I think was just both of our individual relationships with God too.
Yeah.
Because we had to be able to be discerning of, you guys might be good friends. Business doesn't necessarily need to be your forte, or it may not be yet. That doesn't mean that we can't. But at that stage, I think that we were needing to focus on building a friendship and getting to know each other more before we could even determine whether or not we wanted to be in business bed together.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, because really, like, when you're building a business, it's like a marriage, And at the time, we were also trying to build a business with another friend, too. I was like, why does this feel like a polyamorous relationship right now? Like, it's like, because whatever, like, you got going on in your personal life, it's affecting the business. And same thing, like, I got my stuff, and then she had her stuff. And so it just was getting really tough, because then anytime we would get together, there's like all these tasks, like, did you do the tasks that you're supposed to do? And then it just became really like strained in the relationship. And so then I would have to stop and say like, hey, are we playing enough together? Are we actually enjoying each other's company? Or are we showing up and it's like really like business and like we're trying to get work done, And so we kind of had to realize like, like we were stressing each other out.
Yeah. And I think like I said, I think having our personal relationships with God were so instrumental in being able to discern that, because we could have walked away from those experiences, and just said like, I'm good, like it just didn't work out. But that's not what happened. And I was okay with that. It was kind of one of those things that was a learning lesson for me. Everybody's not your business partner, and every business partner is not your friend. So
period. Yeah. And
it works.
And I would rather a friend over the business any day,
absolutely.
And that's how we started, and we tried it and it didn't work. And when we tried to do the walk stuff as well, that was tough, because it's like we have different ways of working, we have different ideas, different just visions. And I think I feel like you might have saw the ugliest version of me during that season. Like, I just felt like I was real spicy. And yeah,
It's funny because I wasn't looking at it like that. I was very much so looking at it like, this is good growth for me. Like, it's good growth in general, good feedback, because I'm a person who I like to be able to improve.
Yeah.
And so in areas where we're working together and you actually have been an entrepreneur a little bit longer, it was like, okay, I welcome this, because I want to be able to grow professionally. I want to grow in these different areas. So for me, it didn't seem like overly spicy.
Aw.
Well, like, also I like spicy.
She said, bring on the spice.
It wasn't like, oh, this is too spicy, like a heartburn. But it was like heartburn. Okay, I love it.
She mad.
Spice. But again, like, that was a part of my development, because like, historically, I'm a person who typically just doesn't like I'm using the word conflict, not that there was conflict, but I'm not a person who likes conflict. So having people bring things to me and me having to address it's not, it doesn't happen too often. So it was good for me. It's a part of like the process of becoming, I think. And becoming the person that I'm wanting to be, the person I'm wanting God to, the person that God wants me to be. And if you hate correction,
well, there's that, right? And I would say what I really appreciate about her, she just taught me a lot about grace, because I definitely felt like I was real spicy during that time. I was like super, just like, I felt like I was being really controlling, or just being like, you know, but she just has so much grace in the way that she, you know, what she took away from that. Like, she just gave me just so much grace and kindness. And I love that, because you helped me like forgive myself in that season. And you were saying, like, it actually pointed me in the better path, and it made me realize like I wasn't actually doing what God was asking me to do. And you even said, like, you were asking me questions that I wasn't asking myself about, you know, is this what God wants? And so I love that that's what you took away from that. And what I took away from it was just her loving me through a really tough season. It helped me love myself better, which was like so beautiful. And so, yeah, and I'm also the same way. I love correction too. I love people that are gonna call me out, who are gonna like tell me like, hey, like, you know, take a chill pill, or whatever that is, because you're not gonna grow if you're constantly surrounding yourself with a bunch of yes men and people that are just always gassing you up and telling you that you're amazing. You know?
For real. For real. Like, you really need to be able to see the areas that are either wounded or are unhealed, or just the problem areas. Like, I look at it like a bruise, right? Like, if this is a sore spot for me, I may be like catering to it, right? And avoiding it because I don't want it to hurt. But having other people around you kind of like accidentally poke that helps one to remind you, like, dang, that's still there. That's a thing. That's something I need to be able to address. And really, like, I just think it exposes you. It exposes the things that you think you got under control, right? Like, or that you don't realize are really still like a bruise or a
So true. So true. And I mean, there was a time where we did take some space from each other. You know, so I always say in relationships, you gotta have a lot of grace. You gotta, you know, sometimes reset the pace, and you have to, take space, grace. We took some space. And to just reflect, you know, and to just, you know, just kind of really recenter ourselves. Because I also think, like, when you plug into people, sometimes it can be tough to know, like, is this my stuff? Is this your stuff? Like, you know, we gotta figure it out. And so, you know, you're also a mom, you're a wife, like, you have a lot of other stuff going on in your life as well. And so, we just had to take our time away. And then when we came back, we were able to really just reflect on it. And I just really appreciate you being willing to do that. Because yeah, I saw it as a lot of conflict. You were just always willing to lean in and just be so gracious. And I love that about you. And yeah, I'm so grateful.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm grateful for the fact that you said something. Like, that's really important. Do you know how many people like could ghost you? Right? It's really important. You know, it's one of the things that I do appreciate and I'm grateful for about your personality. And just the type of person that you are going to say something. Like, you are going to be like,
listen here, girl. Well, and here's the thing though, like, and that's what I think is so funny is, so I used to be super nonchalant. I used to be like, okay, I was the cutoff queen before, like, you know, cutoff culture was a thing. Like, I created that. I was the OG, okay? And so, like, when something got, like, hard, I was like, I'm over it. Like, I don't have time for this. Like, you're literally, like, cramping my stuff. And I would just, like, cut people off. But then as, you know, I continued to heal and grow, I realized that I was taught that love was conditional and how easily like my family would cut me off for not showing up perfectly. And so I actually started to learn healthy love in friendships. Yeah. And so I always say, like, if I'm still talking, that means I care. If I'm still trying, if I'm still reaching out, that means I still care. It is the minute when I stop talking where you know I'm good.
Agreed. I tell clients, and this is a practice that I keep for myself. We're talking about it, yeah, and setting boundaries, or we're speaking about this to maintain the relationship. Yeah. It's not because I want to get rid of it. It's not because I don't care. It is because I care that I even want to address this situation. Yeah. And from my perspective, like, it's uncomfortable that I even have to talk to you about this. So I'm bringing it up because I want to make things better for them, both of us. Right. And so you bringing certain things up is really important because there's a lot of people in relationships, friendships, parental to parent to child relationships that don't speak about conflict or speak about the things that are bothering them. Right. And it causes a strain in relationships. Right. And I just appreciate, this is how you make meaningful connection. You are able to talk about the things that are hitting you below the surface, the vulnerabilities, the areas where the soft parts of you, the parts that we usually don't want people to see, the parts that we're usually holding to ourselves. When you're sharing and allowing people who are safe and trustworthy to see those things, like, it allows you to come back stronger and to be able to either take space and then reset the pace. Right. Just like you said. Yeah, no, I love that. I really do love that. And I think it helps that we both were so equally invested in the friendship too, you know, because I think sometimes one person is more into it than the other, right? And I think that that's also what can be hard. I think in a lot of my friendships in the past, I was the one that was always pursuing, always doing the repair work and all of that. And I feel like it's pretty equally balanced in our relationship. And I really love that because we're both all in. We both really care about the other person. And so I just really appreciate that you also do your part, you know? And so you make it easy to want to work on it. Well, thank you. And again, like, a part of that is because, like, I said what I wanted in the beginning. Yeah. I wanted a friend. And I was looking for a friend. Yeah. And that's a part of that relationship with God. Yeah. Because when we were experiencing certain things specifically related to the business, and I prayed and was like, so, you know, just asking God, he reminded me, you didn't ask for a business partner. That's right. You asked for a friend. That's right. And so that didn't change. You know, I'm not a person that gives up easily. Like, I'm a loyal person. Commitment, those are big values to me. And so when I say, like, I'm your friend, then I'm your friend. Yeah. Unless like something goes down, like some Judas type stuff. I don't know. Because I'm not Jesus. But I'm trying, I'm working on it. Right. Try Jesus, don't try me. But that in itself is one of those things that, like, I find it very important. And I love in a relationship when people are able to just say or express. And I don't mean, like, just say it brutally honest. Like,
Yeah.
You were very compassionate while you spoke to me. It wasn't like you were just like, I don't know. No, it was very like, hey,
Yeah.
like, so I want to, like, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that because everybody doesn't have that same approach. And that's no shade on other people. Like, everybody has their own style of communicating, but I just felt that that was really helpful. And I do think compassionate communication in general is something that when you're talking to someone about something hard or difficult, we should try and engage people with compassion and grace. Let all your conversations be seasoned with grace.
Seasoned with grace, man. That's so real. Yeah, I think it's a skill, and obviously I don't do it perfect every time, right? Like, it would be so nice if we walked around, we were always filled with the Holy Spirit, and we, slept great, and we were, we had ate and we're full. There's moments where we are not going to show up perfect, and I'm grateful that God gave you even just like grace to see me in that space, because I didn't feel like I showed up in that way. I didn't feel like I was gracious in my delivery. And so being able to have people that still see you the way God sees you, or still like see you with compassion, and also like you were seeking to understand me, which I really appreciate that. And then my heart was also to seek to understand you as well. And so I also think that, when you're going into conflict and trying to resolve something, like, don't try to go in and be right. Try to go in to seek to understand, or come to some type of resolution, so that way we can move forward together.
Yeah. That makes all the sense in the world. Like, I think when we talk about excuse me, when we talk about friendship on the larger landscape, there's so many different pillars that I think people try to focus on. But I do think I'm just circling back to like the vulnerability piece, just because it's really important in helping you get to the space where you're addressing certain things, where you're talking about the things that make you uncomfortable, that make you feel safe even in friendship. And I mean, even taking the space to honor and be able to say like, hey, like, I appreciate that you did this, that you spoke to me this way, that you received me in that way. I don't know that we're doing that all the time for our friends and our friendships, and even just acknowledging the way that you did show up when I was going through this, or when I needed you, or the way that you show up when I'm just me. You know, like, I think that it's important to be vulnerable in that way too, not just when things are difficult or when there's conflict. It's important to let other people know how you see them. Like, we need that too.
That's so important. I love that you said that, because I think a lot of times people assume that like, we just assume that people know how we feel about them. And I can't tell you how many times I've done therapy sessions where I'll have like a parent and a child, or a husband and a wife, or whatever, and like, I'll ask one of the the people, hey, how do you feel about your daughter? And the parent will say, oh, well, they know how I feel about them. And I'm like, well, how do you feel? And they're like, oh, I just think she's smart, and she's beautiful, and she's talented. And the kid's looking at them like, I didn't know you felt that way about me, right? Or your friends, like, you just assume your friends know that you love them. Like, they may not know that. And everybody like receives love differently. Everybody shows love differently. And so I think it's also important to figure out like what your friends' love language is. Because sometimes we are giving love in a way that we want to receive it, right? I'm very loud about my love. I'm very passionate about my friends. Like, I'm going to go hard for you. And some people aren't like that. Some people are more quiet. Some people are like, I'm never going to be like screaming from the rooftops that I love you, but like, if you call, I will always pick up. Right. And like, just kind of looking to see, how does this person love me, and not expect them to love the way that you are loving. But if, and being mindful of that, and then also telling them like, hey, I really appreciate that you always pick up my call whenever when I call you, or I appreciate that you're always so thoughtful, and you always just like will randomly bring me something that makes you think of me, and that's just so sweet, because I think that at times, if people are not loving us in a way that we think they should, then we think that they're not
Yeah.
a good friend or they're not loving us.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that, and I think there's low ability to like accept, and I don't want to say tolerate, I want to say accept people for who they are and where they are.
So good.
Because we have such a difficult time, like just being one uncomfortable and dealing with difficult emotions. We shy away from the things that actually create meaningful connection. We shy away from talking about the hard things, talking about the beautiful moments, talking about how do I best receive love? How do you best receive love? Like we're not thinking about other people. And I hate to say that, but well, look, I'll say me. I haven't always thought about other people more than I've thought of myself, right? Like,
well, but we also have to look at your life stage. You're also a wife and a mom. The one thing that I really appreciated about you, so before we became friends, I kind of was like looking for new friends myself, and I've had other friends once they became moms, like they just were not in the space to make friends, right? They're like family, that's my priority. I don't have time for friends. And so I remember like how intentional you were as a friend. And I was like, okay, maybe it doesn't matter that she's a mom. Maybe it just matters that she is just as serious about building a friendship as I am. And so I just wanted to put that out there to kind of say that it doesn't matter what someone's life stage is or what they've got going on. It's really about priority. Like, is friendship a priority?
Yeah, and what I find specifically in our population, meaning entrepreneurs, is it's not. I find that it's not that people don't want friendship, it's that they're not looking at it as something that is of priority and value. And I hate to say it that way because it sounds like so harsh, but that's the reality. When I'm talking to people and I'm asking them about the things that are important to them and the things that they value, friendship is one of the farthest things down the scale. It's family, it's relationship in terms of being married or being married or being a couple, and your career. And then like some people are finding friendship. There are people that are finding friendship to be important, but it's not a priority in terms of like going after it or placing yourself in positions where you can meet people and connect with people. I told you that I had an intention, and that was my intention. So when I say like I want to do something, I want to do something, and that's what it is. I find being intentional to be important in any relationship.
I agree.
If you say that you are wanting to be in a relationship, then you have to remember being in that relationship and being intentional. And we can become an autopilot so much in relationship, friendship. Like you think about calling people, right? Oh, I'll get back to them in a second, or text messages. Like you can end up getting into a pattern where you're only texting. I actually had to realize that about myself. Like I got into a pattern of texting so much that I wasn't really talking on the phone with anyone. And so like the connection it's still there, but it's not quite the same when you're only texting.
Totally.
And so I think that, being able to, one, recognize where friendship falls on your priority list. Is it even a goal? Do you find it beneficial? Because it is so beneficial. Excuse me. Like if you are, for the people who are believers, remembering that friendship is a part of the story of our lives. Friendship it's a part of the love story that we have with God. That he shared his plans with us. He's telling us about certain things and treating us with great friendship, with great love. And I think that, we can take more and more lessons from that aspect of being a good friend and really try and be intentional with how we're walking that out. And it doesn't have to be difficult, but I think it's important to remember that life is not without sacrifice. Like the good things that we want in life, you do have to sacrifice. So that means that you do have to call. You do have to spend time. You do have to check in.
You do have to go first. You do have to, bring things up that are hard. Like, you do have to keep trying. Like,
Yeah.
you do have to forgive. Like, you do have to try to understand and not just be in your own head and thinking that you got them all figured out, right? It's a lot of that, and I agree with you 100%. I mean, Jesus calls all of us friends, and I love that, and although he did have just 12, right? Jesus had 12, so if Jesus can have 12, so can you. Um, but he called all of us friends, and I think that that's a beautiful thing, is if we walk around seeing everybody as potential friend, I feel like we'd be a lot more open and more just like loving and kind to other people. And not to say that everybody's going to be in that 12, right? Like, not everybody is going to be in your inner circle, but I would say if you walk around with an open heart and an open mind, like, I feel like you're going to have a lot more like amazing interactions. When you talked about entrepreneurs and not really valuing friendship, I've also seen that. I think what I've seen is a lot of people in that space either want to be around people that they think are going to benefit them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they're trying to increase their network.
Yeah.
But this generation is really hard to develop meaningful relationships because you got social media, where people are curating their, their image and their whatever, their businesses. And it's also tough because it feels like you almost have to pay to play sometimes in some of people's relationships, where it's like they're networking, but they're really trying to sell you a product, or they're trying to like get you into their MLM, or like, they're trying to sell you a coaching program, and you're like, I just want to have a conversation with you. Like, I'm not trying to be your customer right now.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. Or like, my favorite is like when you go to the store, and like the person that's like super nice to you, oh my gosh, I love your hair, that's so pretty. Like, I love, oh my gosh, like I'm trying to get my hair curly like you. So anyways, what do you do for work? Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow. So yeah, I used to work here, but now I like have my mentor. Like, why is this the only time people are being nice to you? Yeah. They're trying to sell you something, And so, like, I think that's a part of the reason why people are having a hard time building connections. I've been at networking events, and people do not know how to network. Like, they'll just walk up and just be like, here's my business card. Like, I'm sorry, what was your name? I'm doing great, thanks for asking. Like, and a big way to actually build friendships is actually being genuinely interested in the other person. Yeah. Like, asking them questions and, complimenting people. Like, oh, I really love your tattoo. Tell me about your tattoo. Yeah. And just genuinely taking an interest in that person. Yeah. And when people feel that you're interested in them, then they actually are going to be interested in you. Absolutely. Because people remember how you make them feel. And if you make them feel interesting, or if you make them feel seen, then they're going to go, oh, I actually really, really like this person. Wait, what do you do again? You didn't even tell me what you do, right? And then from there can be an opening to talk about your business. And then guess what? Then they're going to be more likely to refer somebody to your business because they got to know you on a personal level. Yeah, you're so right. Curiosity. Yeah. Like, being curious with people. Mm-hmm. I don't care what type of relationship it is, whether it's a friendship, a romantic relationship, the relationship with your child, the relationship with your parent. God. You want to be curious. Yes, you want to be curious. Ask questions. Mm-hmm. Really take an interest. That's important. Not seeking to just give your story and talk about yourself, but really trying to hear about the other person. Yeah. And finding out, especially if there's a conflict, like seeking to understand rather than to be help me understand. Yeah. Like, can we figure this out? Like, where did you go, right? And honestly. When you care, you show up. Yeah. And showing up is vulnerable. It is, hey, that hurt my feelings. Hey, like, that caught me off guard. And then allowing that person to see you in that space, and then figuring out a way that you guys can move forward, because relationships are not going to be without conflict. I mean, relationships are literally rupture and repair, rupture and repair, rupture and repair, over and over and over again, you know? Yeah. And if you can stand those ruptures and repairs, it actually just builds a stronger foundation, right? Yeah, resilience. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's really important. I don't know how much resilience we have in relationships nowadays. I feel like we are so quick to dip out. Yeah. Because I'm going to protect my peace, for real. That cutoff game. Girl, and I had a thought the other day of like,
Why are we so hard on protecting peace when God gives us peace, right? Like,
we don't need
He
to
didn't tell us to protect.
We don't need to protect our peace. He gives us the peace that surpasses all understanding. So it's not our job to protect it.
What He said was to guard your heart,
That
right?
part, yeah.
And so being able to recognize the posture of your heart is important in friendships and in relationships.
Yeah.
Rather than just cutting off, you need to be able to sit and allow yourself. You mentioned allowing the space for other people to see you.
Yeah.
We need to be able to allow space for us to see ourselves, because sometimes there's a disconnect between like, oh shoot, that really bothers me, and I don't even know why it bothers me. I don't even know why I'm so offended. I just know I'm like, I feel some type of way. But really, we need to allow space for other people to see us, and then space for ourselves, like, so that you can recognize that that bruise, that wounded part. I just think that that's really important, and it's very overlooked.
It is. It is, yeah. I would say overall, our culture, I think part of it is we're a very therapized culture, but I feel like a lot of people have healed themselves right into emotional unavailability. Everybody is toxic and a narcissist, and, like, it's just all these things, right? Like, I don't have capacity, like all these words that have been tossed out. And like, I just feel like when we feel like we're constantly at that place of like not having capacity and all these types of things, that just means that we need to continue to develop our skills. Learning how to take better care of ourselves, ask more for what it is that we need, and then being honest and transparent with people, and letting people know like, hey, I need this from you, or I don't need that, or this friendship isn't working, or I need XYZ. I think the best thing we can do is be clear with people, so that people aren't trying to have to like read between the lines or guess like what your behavior meant as opposed to your words. We're all adults here, so let's leave people better than we found them, and just be honest and communicative, because everybody needs to be loved. Well said. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. This is a beautiful conversation.
Thank you.
Chris, how can they find you on social media?
Oh, you can find me You can find me at Miss Kalo. That's Miss_Kalo. And you can also find me at The Connection Cultivator.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Write in the comments below if you guys want me to bring her back. She's amazing. She's a therapist here in Vegas. Are you taking new clients, or what's going on with your...
I am taking new clients.
All right. Okay, well then, if you're looking for a therapist, Chris is your girl. And do you have a specialty?
I actually work with high-achieving women with anxiety or depression.
Love that.
Find that balance between the grind and overall wellness. Being able to take care of ourselves. That includes spiritual wellness, and that also includes social wellness.
Love that. Okay. I mean, she's a great friend, and I'm sure she's a greater therapist. I'm just kidding. All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you in the next episode.